Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. It is Snapshot 18w08b and this is the second snapshot released this week. If you didn't see 08a, I'll put a card on your screen for my video covering that. They basically made a bunch of changes to the ocean, introducing new ocean biomes, and that's going to allow the guys at Mojang to go and add more and more features with each snapshot. And we've got some very interesting ones in this one, and we're going to start off with one of the lesser interesting updates, but one that I think is really cool. It is to do with looking underwater. So the mechanics of seeing underwater have now changed. If I am to drop into the water, things are very dark, and then slowly, as you can see, things come into focus. And what's that over there? We'll get to that real soon, believe me. If we go back above the water and drop back in again, it's dark, but then it brightens up. And so this is the new system. The longer you spend in water, the brighter it becomes, and I think it's extremely cool. I like the effect ever so much. However, there are some things that affect how you see underwater that have been changed. So respiration would have done this previously, and if we go under the water, we'll see the same system. It's dark, and then slowly things light up. Now, the turtle shell is supposed to give you water breathing. That's not happening right here. So, oh no, now we're getting the effect. There it is, excellent. So if we go under the water, you'll see that that doesn't affect the visibility either. Another one that does still affect the visibility is night vision. So if we give ourselves 15 seconds of that, we can see the ocean like this. And when we go under the water, it doesn't work. It goes to the other system. You can also kind of just hang around the surface like this. And when that night vision wears off, you'll be able to see that we can still see through everything like that. And let's get rid of this thing as well. So no water breathing, no night vision, and if you just sort of get right here at the surface, there you go, you get this kind of see-through effect, like you've got night vision on and you can see everything under the water. So that's a bug, that's something that'll probably go, but the main thing that's changed is this visibility where it slowly becomes brighter. This update is very exciting. Your eyes do not fool you, we are looking at fish in Minecraft. This has been requested for such a long time, and now that we're actually seeing them here, it seems mad that this hasn't been done sooner. They are perfect for the oceans to bring some life to these areas. Now, we've got some codfish in front of us right here. You can see they kind of drop down in the kelp. I've seen them doing that before, it's kind of peculiar. There were also some pufferfish around here as well, but no salmon in this area because they spawn in different biomes, and we'll get to that later on in the video. As of right now, I'd like to show you some of the new icons and items that we have in the game. So we've got some of them over here. Those are the fish in the buckets, and if we go to the foodstuffs tab right here, you can see that we've got cod, we've got salmon, clownfish and pufferfish. Now the clownfish haven't been added in yet, and I say yet because it sounds like they're working on that one. These are all new icons, of course. Then we've got cooked cod and cooked salmon right here. So the three of them you can find in the oceans, and you can pick them up in buckets, although I've been unsuccessful in my attempts to do that so far. So what we're going to do is grab some of these fish in the buckets and put them down into the water here and have a closer look at them. But the deal is that they'll spawn out there in the ocean, and they can despawn as well. But if you capture one in a bucket, you can then put it down again and it will never despawn. So you can make yourself an aquarium of sorts, right? If I just drop these in here, this is something for you to now do in your base in this game. Build yourself a little aquarium and fill it up with some life. You know, this is a very plain and simple aquarium. You can obviously make them look a lot nicer, but they just look awesome there. Oh, it's so cool to have these. Anyway, let's put them in the little pool of water down here and check them out. So first of all, we're going to go with the cod and the salmon. You can see the salmon is much larger. It's got like two parts to its body part, and it kind of waggles its body as it goes, and the cod is much smaller. Seems like they like to hang out together as well, which is what you see the fish doing. They kind of hang around in groups. And if we press F3 and B, you're going to see that they have different hitbox sizes, although if I click on them with an empty bucket, this is what happens. You get a bucket of water. Now, I've tried that in both survival and creative, and I'm yet to be able to successfully scoop up a fish, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But next we're going to check out the pufferfish, and this thing has some cool animations, it has different sizes, and it makes some cool sounds as well. So I need to be a little bit quiet here. Right, are you going to make a sound, buddy? Have you spotted me yet? There you go, he's made himself bigger. And has poisoned me as well. As you can see on the side of the screen, I've been poisoned. So what I've experienced before is that it can kind of dash at you and make a bunch of sounds and then swim away quickly. And if we go over there, that's it in its smallest form right there. which is very passive looking. So if we get closer, it gets a little bit bigger, and if we get too close, we get poisoned, and it might go into its largest size. There we go. It hasn't done its attack yet, though. I'll mess around with it a bit longer, see if I can record it doing the attack. This is the way to see the fish. Look at that. Oh, we're up close and personal now. Because we're bobbing around at this height, it's like the water effect has gone away and we're just seeing them without any water transparency, which is cool. And I've yet to been able to get the pufferfish to do that attack again, so I'm not sure what it was I saw earlier. Well, this is the part of the video where you can officially call me a derp. Go down to the comments, hashtag derp if you knew it already. Water buckets are what you use to pick up the fish. You know, I was thinking an empty bucket, but if we look over here, the bucket already has water in. So if we click on water with an empty bucket, it's going to pick it up. If we click on it with a bucket of water, nothing's going to happen. So it kind of makes sense to do it that way around, right? So here's my water bucket, there's a fishy, and we got ourselves a salmon bucket. And if we put the hitbox thing on, I've got a feeling that you won't need to click on the fish model so much as you'll need to click on the hitbox. And there you go, I clicked on the hitbox and not the model. So that was pretty cool. And if we put them back down again, there's something else that I want to show you is what happens if you kill them. Now, I know you're not going to go into the worlds and start killing fish because they're so cute and adorable. So I'll do it for you. They basically drop what fish type they are. And I'm guessing if you go fishing, you'll still be able to get these items. It might be that they'll change how that works a little bit. But if you kill the fish, you basically get the item of that fish. These hitboxes are a really good way of finding fish. Without them, you might not spot them. So that's a pro tip for you right there if you're going in the oceans looking for fish. We've got some pufferfish over here, which means we must be in a warmer one. Yes, we're in a lukewarm ocean. And if we go under the water here, you'll see that the warm oceans are now going to have sands generating at the bottom of them, which looks really fitting. And the atmosphere down here is fantastic. So I've got some information for you. The codfish will spawn in moderate oceans. That's cold, normal, and lukewarm. The salmon will be in the colder ones. That's frozen, cold, and also in rivers they're supposed to spawn as well. And then the pufferfish will be found in lukewarm and warm oceans. And I've also read that the warm oceans are going to be only warm oceans. There's not going to be any deep warm oceans anymore, so they'll always be relatively shallow and sandy. And look at this, we found some in their natural habitat. I'm never going to get bored of seeing fish swimming around in Minecraft. This is simply wonderful. So we saw this earlier in the video, some cod hanging out together. And it turns out that cod and salmon are social creatures. They like to hang out in groups. And it seems like if they find each other, they'll just kind of team up. So if we go down to the bottom and bring some salmon into this area, we should see that they all kind of stick together and form a group. I mean, that looks like a group of fish to me, right? Look, there's some more over there as well in a group. It's not the same for the pufferfish, though. Those like to hang out on their own. I think if we were to find any right now, they'd be behind me. Yeah, look, here's a pufferfish, and it's hanging out on its own. So those like to go by themselves, but the cod and the salmon like to hang out in groups. Now, I know what important fish-related question is burning in your mind. Well, what happens to the fish when they're out of water? Do they flop around? It places the water down as well, so let's pick it back up. Oh, it does flop around, and it tried to go back to the water. I think it's going to go for the water each time, although maybe that time it didn't see it. So they do flop around. Wow. I read that they just hang out on their side, which is interesting. So let's pull the water away again. It really looks like it's flopping towards the water. Yeah, and it's going to make its way back to the ocean, ain't you? Because you're a good old fishy. Oh, look at that. You're going to make it. I'm going to let you go. Right, and now let's try it out with the pufferfish as well. Oh, and he's taking damage and dying. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, and then like that's... You're just going to bump around happily. You're not going to go for the water, it looks like. Oh, it can still puff up. Man, that thing looks so derpy. I love its face. Ah, now it's taking damage. Well, that's what you get for poisoning me, I guess. So I've been reading that when you're under the water for a minute, that's when you get the maximum visibility. Feels like you get that after about 10 seconds, but I've got to say, the ocean is very blue down here. And anyway, I've got one more thing to show you. If we grab some dried kelp, there's now a recipe for this. So we can put it into there, we can make the blocks, excellent, but we can also turn them back into dried kelp, which is fantastic. So they added that a couple of snapshots ago, and then it was like, hang on a second, you can't craft it. But now we can, and be sure to be subscribed to the channel for more update videos. We've got the clownfish and also the tropical fish apparently going to be added into the ocean soon. So more fish for the future, and I'll be covering that here on this channel when the snapshots are released. But that's it from me this video. If you enjoyed it, then leave a like. As always, thank you for the support, and I'll see you in the next one. So ciao for now. Bye bye.